Welcome back. I hope you're doing well, and let's dive right in. Finding the right workflow and finding the balance between practicing, preparing for homeworks, reading, and life can be hard, especially for music students. In the first chapter of Meditations, Marcus Aurelius talks about his teacher and the workflow of that person. He uses the following words: to do my work, mind my own business, and have no time for slanderers. This lesson is critical for students, but frankly, probably for all of us, at least in certain fields. Often we can find ourselves in a very competitive, occasionally toxic, and sometimes gossip-ridden environments. So therefore, focusing on our own progress, once again, our own personal progress, rather than allowing ourselves become entangled in all the drama, can lead to a more fulfilling and successful experience or educational experience. Once again, I'd like to stress the word our own personal progress as opposed to competing on some external level, for example, with the musicians who are practicing in the practice room next door. And those competitions could be really silly, like, for example, who can practice for a longest amount of time or who can play certain passages faster. If anything, those competitions can lead to burnout and professional injuries. But more on that in different videos as well. Stating the obvious with the following philosopher, Musonius Rufus frequently talks about the importance of consistent practice in developing any skill. For us, musicians, naturally, this translates to regular, dedicated practice to master our instrument or our voice. Lastly, Seneca offers truly timeless advice to all the aspiring musicians. He cautions that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it, emphasizing the need for focused and productive practice rather than aimless, countless hours that we spend mastering our craft. He also notes that true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. This tells us that we should cherish the present moments of study, practice, and performance, free from any anxiety about future endeavors. To summarize some of the points I was sharing with you in this video, I'd like us to visualize a little story. That's probably going to be true for some of us and some of the students and some of the professionals as well. So let's imagine that we are a second year student, music student at the very prestigious conservatory or a very prestigious school of music. And then we are consumed by competition because we are constantly and continuously comparing ourselves, our progress, to that of our classmates. And thus, we are feeling a huge pressure on our shoulders to practice longer and harder. Our rationale is bulletproof. The more hours, the more time we put in, the better results we'll get and the better musicians we will be. As academic year unfolds, we find ourselves in a situation that our body starts to ache. If we are pianists, our hands may start to hurt. If you're singers, something bad starts to happening to our vocal cords. So brushing all of those discomforts, all of those sensations aside, we assume that this discomfort is temporary and it's price to pay. It's a price of greatness. Unfortunately, soon we'll find out ourselves sidelined with repetitive strain injuries, and then we'll have to take an unidentified time off from improving our craft. It will force us to pause our journey for a number of months, maybe even years sometimes. Now let's compare that mindset to another peer of ours who probably practices fewer hours, but manages to do that in a more focused, more mindful way. And so over time, they progress just as much, and then in the long run, they progress more. They really thrive in all of that. This cautionary tale, which is unfortunately quite a realistic example, underscores the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, reminding us that life balance and quality of our practice are crucial for our long-term success and well-being. As Seneca wisely said, the key to happiness is to enjoy the present moment, which includes making each practice session count without compromising our future. What I hope you take away from this video is twofold. First, it's really crucial to align our practicing sessions with our goals, with specific upcoming performances that serve as the ultimate accountability checkpoints. And then, number two, we should focus on how exactly we use those hours when practicing, not just simply focusing on cramming more hours of less optimal practice each day. Quality practice and present moment awareness are not just philosophical ideals. They are essential for your artistic and personal well-being. I am going to wrap up this video here, and next weekend, actually in the weekend, Stoic philosophers will help us to deal with distractions in our lives, as well as figure out how to practice purposefully. I'm wishing you happy learning.